AK47 style adjustable stock. I think it's an Archangel. I will be retrofitting it to fit my JTS AK12. I will be putting a few clips together showing the modifications that you need to do to this part so that it'll fit right here. I don't want to do any modifications to the gun itself or my old buttstock, just in case I ever want to just put it back on. We'll begin to take off the buttstock by opening up the gun. We'll open that up, and then we'll have to remove this spring. Once you remove the spring, there's a little screw right here. That is a 5mm. It is an Allen wrench or a 5mm hex socket on a ratchet. For now, I will be removing it with the socket. Just a little easier for me, used to it. Once you remove it, you'll be able to kind of wiggle that out, and this is the buttstock that we're going to replace. This is the original to the JTS, and I will be using this one, or trying to put this one onto the shotgun. This is an adjustable Archangel with chin adjustment. So I'll be trying to put this one on the JTS. Now, there are a few differences. As you can see, this one has less plastic. So we'll be cutting some pieces out. As you can see, I probably already marked a couple of little sections here that need to be cut out. I will be cutting some sections out, and I'll be showing you where I cut before I retrofit this. Right now, what I want to do is I want to measure this area right here, because I will be cutting out little sections of this plastic right here so that it'll go into that section right there. So right now it looks to be pretty centered. I'm going to use a little X-Acto straight edge to kind of mark where I'm going to cut, or at least make a line. I want to get this as close to the edge as possible so that it fits pretty nice and snug. I don't know if you can see the little lines. One there, and there's another one. What I'll be doing is I'll be using the same X-Acto knife to actually draw a straight line. Since it's pretty straight, I'm just gonna use it as my ruler. Let's see. And I'm using a silver marker. Since the device is black, I don't want to use a black permanent marker. I'll never be able to see it. So there's one. It looks pretty even right there. No, needs a little bit. Right there. I've already made my markings. This one didn't come out too great, but I can still see where it's pretty straight up to here. We're going to be cutting these sections off so they fit into the gun. Now I was noticing that we have this whole section of plastic that this area doesn't have, and I actually looked on the gun, and it would be best that I actually begin cutting this from right there and cut this. So I will actually be cutting this whole section out and making it flush all the way up to that area right there. Now, I'm also looking at exactly where that stock is gonna be, which you can actually see that I had already marked it here, but I hadn't marked it up here. So I can potentially cut all this section out right here. I'm gonna be cutting all that out right now. And I'll follow up with what I've done after that. But for now, I will be cutting out this section and this section. And after I do that, we'll see what else needs to be modified. I already cut out the sections that I mentioned earlier. You see, I'm deciding to leave this one long. I think it'll be able to fit underneath a little section on the rifle, and it'll actually give me a little more support if I leave it. So I'm gonna see if I can fit that in there. Now, as far as this right here, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna measure. I'm gonna try to center this as close to as possible with the other buttstock, and I'm gonna cut this section out and this section out, little piece right there and there. And I think they actually line up with these that I did earlier. So I'm probably gonna go straight across and see if I can get those to line up, which will be a lot easier. And I'm also going to be removing a little section of this right here, all of that, and I think all of that also. I'm gonna be removing that little section and just leaving like a little square right here, which is basically something like that. I'm gonna see how that works. I've done a few little cuts, as you can see, the little marks I had done earlier. And I also used a little triangle file to file a little bit of this to make it a little more smooth. Now, I think it is gonna work just like I thought. If you look under here, in the gun, the bottom piece is like hollowed out. Nothing really comes back and hit it when you fire any shells or anything like that. So I was thinking that I can probably get this part right here to slide underneath there to give me more support. And it looks like it's gonna work. That's only being held by the bottom piece that I kind of left a little long. All I need to do now is cut the upper section of the hole, and I'll be closing this and putting a screw to hold it in. So far, this is looking pretty well. Let's finish cutting up the little area to see how it's gonna look after it fits on there, and it looks to fit pretty snug too, as you can see. Okay, so this is what I came up with after doing measurements and cutting out what I believe needed to be cut out. Now, the tools that I actually used were this little saw. I didn't want to use a Dremel immediately on it because the plastic gets hot when the Dremel is at high rotation speeds. So I didn't want to melt anything. So I used this little saw. Basically, to cut the big pieces out, and then I use the little file to try to smooth it out, you know, the best I could, trying to fit it in perfect, not shaving too much, not leaving it really hard to work with. And then I also used this little Dremel, but only to kind of fine touch the little plastic. You can see what I was talking about, the melting. I didn't want to use that to cut because it would have melted, messed it up. Now what I came up with was this. And this actually looks pretty well. It fits in pretty snug. Fits in pretty snug. I actually want it kind of snug. I don't want to shave anymore. So there it goes. The final step is we're gonna drill a 45-degree angle into the buttstock. You don't want to go all the way, just enough. Just enough for the screw that we need to put in. They sent us this screw. Now the thing is that when you use a drill bit, make sure you use a drill bit smaller than the screw, because you don't want to make it too big and then you just messed up all the work you did. And you don't want to use it too small, because then you can actually crack the plastic. So right now I think that's good enough. We're gonna put this buttstock back on this shotgun. Now we're just gonna put the screw in it to hold the buttstock in place. We'll put it back together. And voila, there we go. Archangel buttstock on a JTS shotgun. I hope you like it. I will be putting on a 15-round drum. I just ordered it, and I ordered also a second mag well. I don't want to mess up this mag well and then not be able to use the gun at all. So I ordered a second mag well to modify so that I can use a drum with this and have this in case I ever want to put it back to my regular shotgun. But there you go. That was the build or the modification. I hope you guys liked it. Give me a like